Welcome back to the Jacked Racing YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about all of the costs that go into starting racing, from having completely nothing to having a car, trailer, truck, everything it takes to get you onto the track and turn your first laps. I'm going to break this down into a bunch of different categories, and I'm going to keep a running total down here. I'm going to kind of go through like a minimum acceptable quality and then like a better good quality, and kind of keep two running totals so you can see what it takes depending on what level you want to put into this. Now keep in mind, the sky is endless when it comes to this stuff. There's people spending hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars doing this. We're not talking about that right now. We're talking about getting started from the bottom, turning your first laps, getting experience, and just going out and having fun. So this is not going to be breaking down the cost of running a full-time NASCAR team. It's going to be what it takes to get you onto a racetrack and out there having some fun. Alright, so there's one place we're obviously going to start at, and that is the car. You have to have the car to go to the track. So basically, I'm going to do this video covering front-wheel drive 4-cylinders because that's what I have and what I know, but also that's where a lot of you would start if you were getting into racing. So basically, you're looking anywhere $2,000 to $3,500 for a good car. So we're going to call the good category $2,000 and then the better category $3,500. We'll start from there. Now keep in mind, race ready does not actually always mean race ready when you're looking at classified ads. You're going to have to put some parts in, you're going to have to put some different things into it to make it ready and customized to you. So let's go through what that entails. You're going to need a seat. Do not skimp out on a good seat. We're going to start with the acceptable minimum seat at $500 because everyone should be out there in a containment seat. We should not be getting these little $100 cheap seats and calling that good enough. Your safety is not worth that little bit of savings. So for the better category over here, we're going to add in $1,000. Now these are going to include seat belts as well. You're going to want new belts. They only last a couple of years. So if you're building a car or just customizing it to yourself, you're going to probably need new belts. So here's where we are, car and seat. Next, we're going to talk about parts. You're going to find some worn out parts when you buy a used race car. It's just the way it is. It's not the end of the world. Most of the time it's smaller things, and with these kind of cars you can get parts for cheap. You can go to the junkyard, you can look online, you can go to Facebook groups, you can find parts very easily for a lot of these cars, and you're not going to break the bank if you do it. As examples, maybe you're going to put brake pads on, maybe some rotors. I had to do a strut job on this car. A couple $100. We're going to budget $200 for miscellaneous parts. One big expense you're going to have when you're starting racing is tires. If your track allows racing rims, that's going to be even more. So we're going to put racing rims in the better category because that's not always going to be necessary. We're going to budget around $300 for that. Tires, we're going to put in both sides. That's going to be $400 for a good set of new tires that aren't going to be total garbage when you go out onto the track. So now that we've got the car set, we're looking at $3,150 for the minimum acceptable and then $5,450 for the better category. So now that you've got the car, you got to get it to the track. And to do that, you're going to need a trailer. So I got my trailer very cheap. I got it for $1,000. So I'm going to put that in the good minimum category. And then I'll say about $2,000 for a good open car trailer over here in the better category. This could include a winch, new tires, just a manufacturer trailer. There's a lot of options here. Obviously, you can go up and spend a bunch more money if you want a big, nice, fancy enclosed trailer, but that's not what we're talking about right here. We're talking just getting started, minimum to get to the track. So keep in mind, again, the sky is endless. You can see people out there with toter homes. You don't need that to get started. For the good category, we're looking at $4,150 now with a trailer. And for the better category, we're looking at $7,450 at this point with the car and the trailer. Okay, so you've got your car, you've got your trailer. How are you going to get it to the track? We're getting a truck. So basically, you can go on Facebook Marketplace. You can find used trucks that are going to be good just for towing your car around. Probably looking at about $5,000. So this, I mean, obviously this is one that can go probably a little less or way higher, depending on what you want to get or what you might already have. If you already have a truck, you don't have to worry about this, but we're going to assume you have nothing. So we're going to put $5,000 in both categories. basically just as a kind of an average of what you can look to spend for a decent used truck that'll get you back and forth. The next thing we're going to talk about is very, very, very important. We're talking about safety gear. So this is one we're not cutting corners on. We are not saving money here. We're getting the good stuff because it's not worth racking up thousands and thousands of medical bills when you get hurt, when it's very preventable. So start with a fire suit. We're not getting single layer little crappy suits. We're getting a good, nice fire suit, starting at about $250 for the minimum acceptable, and then up to about $500 for a decent one. Obviously you can spend thousands on these, but again, not what we're doing here. Shoes. You're going to want fireproof shoes. They're required by most tracks, and you should just have them on anyways, because walking around on burnt feet doesn't sound like fun for anyone. So $80 for cheaper shoes and $300 for a good quality pair of shoes. Helmets, we're looking at about $250 and then $500. These are all going to be Snell rated helmets that are currently up to date. And to attach to that helmet, you're going to want a Hans device. They range from $250 up to $600 for one of like the nice hybrid systems. Obviously they can go higher, but we don't really need that here. So definitely get the Hans. I don't know why they are not mandatory at every track around the country right now, but you're gonna want one. So we're adding that in. Gloves, you're looking at about $50 to $150, and then a receiver radio. Most tracks require these. They're little tiny radios that help the officials talk to you while you're on the track. They're about $100 each. So now that we've got all our safety gear, we're looking at $10,130 for the acceptable category, and then $14,600 for the better category. All right, you got your car, your truck, your trailer, and your safety gear. Now you got to work on the car, so you're going to need some tools. We're going to go real basic with this. We're just going to get a jack for $100, some jack stands for $30, a mechanic's tool set for $200 to $300, and then miscellaneous stuff like hammers, sockets, just random stuff that you might need laying around. We'll give $200 for that. So that brings you to $10,660 for the acceptable category and $15,230 for the better category. So basically these are the costs that it's going to cost to get you everything you need to start racing. Getting to the track is one thing. Once you're there, you're going to spend $40 a person on pit entry. You're going to spend some fuel in the truck to get there, but these are little things in the grand scheme of things. You know, racing has recurring costs, so we're going to not count these in this budget. I know these numbers look kind of scary, and you're probably thinking, I don't have this kind of money to just drop on a race car right now. That's okay. Take it slow. Get little things one at a time. Get up your safety gear, gather some tools, keep your eyes out on Facebook Marketplace, Racing Junk, all the places you can find race cars, and then just kind of do it one by one. You'd be surprised how easy it is over time to gather these things up and do it. I spent months getting all of this together, probably a year getting all this stuff together, and I got lucky. I already had some of the safety gear and tools and everything else. So, I mean, you never know. You might find yourself in a circumstance where you don't have to spend this much money to get started. Then if you don't, look for sponsors. Look for people to help you out. See what you can find. You can build a race car if you want to. Get a car from the junkyard or from Marketplace for a couple $100. Get a good roll cage and seat into it, and go hit the track. You don't need anything fancy to do this. Just go out, have some fun, and you'll get better as you go. Whether you're trying to get started racing on your own or you were just curious to see what it costs, I hope this helped. If you have any questions, put them down below. I'll answer as many as I can. But other than that, stay tuned. We're going to be hitting the track again in a couple of weeks, so subscribe to the channel to see all of our updates and race day vlogs. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.